Hello, everyone. Vinod here. Welcome to Career Bolt. So we have a student with us today who was an ex-Roorkee student, right now working in Taiwan. So welcome, Tarique. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity and share my experience with all of the viewers of Career Bolt.
Awesome. So first thing first, let me give a quick introduction. So we met Tariq when we were last year. I think we were at IIT Roorkee talking to
Yeah,
students, giving resume feedback. Tariq reached out to us. We had a conversation. We gave a lot of feedback. He reached out to Vibin, had longer conversations. He
yeah,
cracked some very good companies, and he is right now working in Micron in Taiwan.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we will talk more about Tariq. So, Tariq, why don't you begin right now? I'm going to stop here and throw it over to you. So, give me a quick introduction, Tariq. Talk me about where you are from, which location did you grow up in, uh, where did you do your undergraduate? Looks like you worked for a couple of years. Talk briefly about it. What did you specialize in IIT Roorkee? And what is your designation in Micron right now? Over to you.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. So, my name is Tarique Chaudhari, and I belong to Uttar Pradesh. It is 100 kilometers from Lucknow city, named Gonda, uh, Gonda or Ayodhya, you can call it. But my family lives in Mumbai from last 20 years, and I brought up in Mumbai. And my entire education has been done in Mumbai and Konkan region. So I done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I passed out in 2019 uh, from the Tier 3 college called as Finolex Academy, which is affiliated to University of Mumbai. So after my graduation, I joined one of the startup based in Mumbai, named as D Express. So they used to manufacture electric scooters, delivery based electric scooters. So I started as an service engineer. I used to do some repair and maintenance works for electric scooters. Then I moved to operations department in the same company, and I worked for around 23 months. So along with my job, I also prepared for GATE examination, and in 2022, I joined IIT Roorkee for MTech in Production and Industrial Systems Engineering. So uh, uh, there were a lot of opportunities through campus placements, and one of the best opportunity which I got is Micron Taiwan, and I have joined Micron this August, uh, 5th of August, and I have completed around 3 months now. And my designation and role is engineer even, and my profile is development engineer in the Department of High Volume Manufacturing. So this is overall summary of my career.
So, Tarika, can you maybe touch briefly about your work experience? So, you have an interesting profile. You worked and then did your master's program, which I
Yeah,
highly recommend to everyone. Just don't keep on studying, work a
yeah,
little, see the world outside, and then
yeah,
ask yourself, do you want to study further, right? That's a good
yeah,
way to do master's program. So, talk about your work experience and let me know how useful is it in your work right now.
yeah. So just not just a work experience. So a lot of students, a lot of we do some kind of co-curricular activities in our bachelor's days or days. So same thing happened for me in my mechanical engineering. For first 2 years, I was like, why I'm doing mechanical engineering, and I had no interest in the subjects. So in the third year of engineering, I became the captain of a team named as Team Sorveg, which is a solar car team. So there, from there, I got interest in some technical management things and technical management roles. At the same time, from third year, we had some subjects related to industrial engineering, like production planning, production management, industrial engineering, operations, research, project management. So I started relating to those subjects along with the project which we were executing with the team of 30 to 40 students. So from there, I knew that yes, this is the thing which I want to do in my career. So after my graduation, I joined the company. So the good thing about working in a startup is like uh, you have to do everything, and there is there is no limitations for learning. So that was an added advantage for me. Talking about the advantage of having work experience, especially when you sit for campus placement. So there is no criteria from the companies. The company is looking for freshers only. So there is no added advantage if you have a work experience. But from inner side, there is a kind of self-confidence if you have some experience. So when you are studying the subjects in your masters, so you start relating to the things which you have already done. And another thing is when you are going to face the interview, so your profile, when the interviewer look into your resume, it is already filled with lot of stuff. So interviewer has something to talk about. So the first question he will ask will be your job experience. And if you have done something in your job experience, maybe 1 year or 2 year, you will definitely have something to talk about, something to answer the questions. So if you don't have the work experience, so definitely the interviewer has nothing but to ask about your project or some technical questions. So if the interview is very very expert in those subjects, it is difficult to answer those questions. And if interview is not expert in those subjects, so he cannot answer, he don't have very much to ask about you. So yes, definitely having a work experience is having a big advantage while facing such campus placement interviews.
Tariq, just to add to that, I worked for 3 years in manufacturing production after my
Yeah,
undergraduate. It's
yeah,
extremely helpful throughout my life. I always keep talking about those experiences, and that's something which makes me stand out from everyone else. Because nobody works straight after undergrad for such a long time.
yeah,
So, manufacturing, even though it may not be super high paying, but it gives you immense
yeah,
exposure to leadership roles. It talks,
definitely.
I mean, you work different functions, you're leading teams, you're meeting
Yeah,
production targets. Brilliant
yeah,
experience, right?
yes,
And
yes,
also, what happens is now that I've been also in HR and looked at recruiting, led campus recruiting, everybody is very similar at the end of the day. So you're always looking for
yeah,
something to make others stand out. Like, what is that one
yeah,
secret sauce which makes, for example, Tariq stand out from everyone else, right? And if
yeah,
Tariq's okay
yeah,
brings us a work experience, fantastic, right? That's how Tariq is going to stand out. And especially foreign companies, multinational companies, high-paying jobs. The more different you are, the higher your chances are getting a job. So good
yes.
that you did all this good work. So let's go on to the next question. So can maybe give us a little bit of tips about the campus recruitment process. So, what helps in getting a good campus offer, especially from foreign companies? Maybe reflect on your experience in Roorkee.
Yeah, so when we consider about campus placements, it is recommended to have a good CGPA. It is not recommended like you should be a gold medalist or maybe you score 10 out of 10, but it is recommended to have a CGPA of at least 8 plus. So uh, it gives a good impact on your CV, and the interviewer has the first impression. Yes, you are doing well in your career and you are putting a good effort in your career. So that is the one thing. And uh, majority of good paying companies have shortlisting criteria that they want a student who have CGPA 7 plus or 8 plus. So that is the one thing. Another thing is you should have a good amount of co-curricular activities, even though if you don't have any work experience. But uh, this is the one thing, you have a lot of clubs, lot of activities in your university, in your college, so you should take participate in those clubs and universities. So if it so you will have some real time work experience, real time team management, team building, and team efforts. So these are the things which companies look, not only technical things, but some kind of leadership roles, some kind of management roles, some kind of communication skills, and team building skills. So you need to fill your resume, at least one page should be filled with these kind of activities.
Okay. So you touched on CGPA. So let's move on to one more question. So what are some of the companies which end up recruiting from India? Do you have any idea? Like, and what was your experience like? Are they all open for production? Are they open for mechanical? Are they open for other branches? Again, if you have any information, you can share this with us.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we consider semiconductor industries, uh, we can say that already there is a very good hype among electronics and EC students about VLSI companies, and a lot of companies are already recruiting through IITs and ISC and top NITs. Uh, but if you consider mechanical engineers, the scope is somewhat limited as of now because there are no semiconductor manufacturing plants in India. But fortunately, we had some opportunities, just like for us, Micron Taiwan visited to India and they recruited us. Similarly, TSMC also recruits regularly from other IITs. Apart from these semiconductor manufacturing companies, there are some tool and equipment manufacturers, just like Lam Research, KLA, and Applied Materials. So these are the regular recruiters from all of the IITs, and they do consider mechanical engineers. And if you know, they are paying very, very good amount in the range of 20 to 30 lakh per annum in India. So another thing is like just Micron has set up their plant in India, and if you are going through news, so around 5 to 10 other companies are going to set up their plant in India. So right now, even though there are less scope for less job opportunities for mechanical engineers or manufacturing engineers, but there is a good scope in near future for mechanical engineers in India in the field of semiconductor industry.
Okay, just following up from that question, if a student in India wants to use GATE and join one of the IITs to get into all these companies you mentioned, which
Yeah.
IIT should they be targeting? Can you give us, from your experience, which IITs do the recruiting happen from outside
Yeah,
IASC?
yeah. I think ISC has a very good reputation in the field of semiconductor industry, and I see almost all of the all of the semiconductor industries are recruiting from ISC Bangalore. Apart from that, all the old seven IITs, uh, so all of the semiconductor industries are recruiting from these IITs. You name any semiconductor industry, so they are recruiting from all these old IITs. So I'm not sure about NITs. I mean, I don't have information about NITs.
Okay.
And just like I had some information last year, only IIT Roorkee has some joint program, joint MTech program, joint dual degree program with some Taiwanese universities, three Taiwan universities. I remember NTHU, NYCU, and NTNU. So they have a joint program like they will do first semester and fourth semester at IIT Roorkee and third semester and second and third semester at Taiwan University. So this is going to be a very good learning experience because right now, what is the thing that IITs don't have that kind of infrastructure, that kind of clean rooms and facilities. So in order to give a practical learning experience, so this kind of joint programs are going to give a very good practical and learning experience. And if student come for 1 year to Taiwan, so they may have some good job opportunities here in Taiwan and going back to India also.
Okay, just taking off from what Tariq said, I think IIT Bombay, Kharagpur, and Roorkee have some
Yeah,
sort of like programs with some Taiwan universities. And the good
yeah,
thing is, the Taiwan is full of jobs. So it's if you spend 1 or 2 semesters in Taiwan, it's so much easier to find a good job in Taiwan. So let's
yeah.
move on to that aspect, Tariq. So let's talk about the culture in Taiwan. Like, what's your experience been like? You worked in India, you worked in Taiwan. So initial thoughts about the differences in working culture.
So uh, the culture, I mean, work culture and the environment is very, very good and very, very helpful. Like people are just welcoming nature. They are helpful each and every time, not only inside company but outside people are very helpful in nature. Other thing is the weather is very very sweet here, not very hot, not very cold, and uh, if you are looking for something just like Europe and USA environment, yeah, you can have similar infrastructure, similar facilities here, similar living standard here. So uh, and the most important thing is the safety. So it is very very safe to live in Taiwan. We are like just we can roam outside maybe at the night midnight, and there is no issue in terms of safety. So these are the things which we like about Taiwan.
There's some conversation about geopolitical risk, and there's always Taiwan is in the news. Does that impact your
Yeah.
life in any way? Yes or no?
No, no, no. So when we talk about when we talk with Taiwanese people about these issues, so they say that this is just about outside media. There is nothing inside, and people are not concerned about these things in Taiwan. So this is just a news buzz, nothing else.
Yeah, I think newspapers have nothing to write, so they keep creating news
Yeah,
when news does not exist.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so let's move on to one more question. So, typically semiconductors tends to be high-paying jobs. Do you have an approximate sense of like what's the range of pay? Like, is there a
yeah,
range in India or abroad, outside India? If you're comfortable sharing with us.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, when we consider all of these semiconductor industries who visit IITs and for master's program, so they have salary in the range of 25 to 42 LPA. So it is in the range of 25 to 42
Sorry, is
LPA.
this in India or abroad?
This is in India. This is in India, and it is the CTC cost to the company. And if you consider abroad, maybe Taiwan, Singapore, USA, so companies offer similar package. Uh, it may be higher in numbers, but it is similar in the valuation, considering the living standard and tax and some other factors. So it is almost similar. It is not like that company is paying someone higher in Taiwan or in Singapore or in USA. So if we consider cost of living and taxes and some other factors, so it is almost similar everywhere.
Where are the locations in India for the semiconductor companies?
So right now, if we consider for manufacturing, so right now only Micron has operational plant in Gujarat, and Tata Electronics is setting their plant in Dholera, Gujarat, and another backend in Assam. So right now only these two companies, and if we consider R&D centers for all of the companies such as Intel, Texas Instrument, and other every company, so they have their research centers in Hyderabad and Bangalore.
So, what is the job market like in Taiwan for mechanical engineers, typically from what you observe? Uh, if there's a student in India who says that, hey, I want to get a very good job in, say, Taiwan,
Yeah,
Singapore, and so on, like abroad,
yeah.
do you advocate that they should be doing something?
Yeah, so that is the advantage of working in the semiconductor industry. Like there is no differentiation between mechanical engineers or software engineers. If we look in India, so definitely software engineers are paid very very high as compared to mechanical engineers. But if you look into semiconductor industry, they are paid equally, eh, whatever the profile they are working in. So that is the one thing. And if we compare India and Taiwan, so definitely the opportunities uh, which a mechanical engineer or maybe any other engineer have for job is very very much. Like if someone is graduating from bachelor's or master's, so they will definitely have one or two jobs in hand. It is not necessary that they will have a semiconductor industry job in hand, but surely they will have some job in hand. So if someone is looking to do their masters after bachelor's, they can definitely consider. And yes, it is a high paying job as compared to India.
Tariq, what other jobs exist in Taiwan outside the semiconductors? Everyone knows about semiconductors in Taiwan, but
Yeah, yeah.
which other sectors do really well in Taiwan?
So you consider any hardware electronics, so you will find industry here, and Taiwan manufacture each and every electronics here in Taiwan, maybe robotics, automation, and all kind of hardware electronics. These are manufactured here in Taiwan.
How are the higher studies opportunities in Taiwan? I know that a lot of students don't necessarily target Taiwan, so but looks like they recruit heavily from Taiwan-based universities compared to say Indian universities, right? So is it
Yeah,
difficult to
yeah.
get into Taiwan universities? It is easier to get into Taiwan universities. Any initial thoughts?
Yeah, so if you like many of my friends approach, can you help me to land a job in Taiwan? It is impossible to get a job sitting in India and get a job in Taiwan. So if you're considering to get a job in Taiwan, you should first come here. So the best way is to do masters here or do PhD here. So when I talked with my other colleagues who have studied here in Taiwan, so they say that there is no any kind of entrance exam to get into Taiwan universities. Just we need to do apply and write SOP and some other formalities. And many of the programs have scholarship programs also. So if you get a scholarship, so you won't have burden and expenses. That is the one thing. Another thing is if you consider the quality of education, so it is as compared to it is as per same standard as IITs. Many of the universities are ranked very very high as per QS university ranking. One of the university named as NTU, it is ranked 68 in the world, and some other universities are in the range of 200 to 300. That is ranking part. But if you consider semiconductor industry and semiconductor programs, so there is no match to the quality of education in the semiconductor industry anywhere in the world, because they have each and every facility, each and every infrastructure inside their campus, inside their university. And government has some initiatives, government has some science parks. So if the facility is not available in the university, they can consult to those science parks and do their projects and experiments in those science parks.
Okay, so let me branch off into some related topics. Again, I'm
Okay.
just curious after talking to you. So first thing first, what is the chances of getting financial aid in Taiwan University? I mean, you touched on it, but one problem with all the Western universities is that they're extremely expensive, and most Indians cannot afford it. So, is it
Yeah.
possible to get funding? Is it like universities give funding? I mean, if you don't know, that's fine, but I just thought I'll ask you that question.
Yeah, I don't know much, but I see that they offer the scholarship in the range of something 25,000 NTD, 25,000 to 40,000 NTD, and if you consider living expenses, it is in the range of 15 to 20,000. And if you are living in university dormitory, so it is very very less, maybe 10,000 and
And what's
NT
the
dollars.
tuition fees approximately? Some range?
So I don't
No
have
idea.
idea
Okay,
about
okay.
tuition fee.
We'll ask students to do the research themselves. And what are the
Yeah,
chances of getting like do they discriminate between insiders and outsiders when it comes to jobs? Because when you are in US, right, you need to
yeah,
have that H1B working visa.
yeah,
Same thing with
yeah,
Europe. Is it
yeah,
easier now? Singapore is much easier. I know that for sure
yeah,
through
yeah,
Vibin. So how is it in Taiwan?
yeah.
Like, is it again? Do you need to get visas, and is it a very complicated process? Any initial thoughts?
Yeah, so there is no issue with getting visa. A visa is readily available, and uh, right now all of the semiconductor industries are heavily recruiting from other countries such as nearby Asian countries, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, South Korea, etc., Philippines. So there is not any kind of discrimination between insiders and outsiders, but there are certain roles, especially in manufacturing, where we have to work inside the fab, and we need to in contact with some operators or some suppliers and some vendors. So there is a requirement to speak in local language, Mandarin. So if you are having good command on the Mandarin, so you will be given a preference and you will be given the chance. But if you are not comfortable in talking Mandarin, so there might be some issue. But if we consider some other profiles related to R&D, maybe some design verification roles from electronics background, or maybe some data science role, so they are the first preference. Indians are the first preference to get those roles.
Okay.
There is no any kind of discrimination here. And people, the one thing is that the people are very, very honest here. Very, very honest.
So can you generally talk about the prospects of the semiconductor industry in the future? Because we also know that a lot of these companies are coming to India. So, are there going to be a lot of global opportunities for folks who get trained abroad? Any thoughts?
Yeah. So right now also, if we consider for mechanical engineers, just Micron has their plant in Gujarat, and they have recruited a lot of mechanical engineers and especially industrial engineers from nearby state government engineering colleges. So this is just one plant, and we are looking that due to some government initiatives and government policies, number of companies are going to set up in Gujarat, in Mumbai, in Noida, and in Assam. So uh, I see that for mechanical engineers, it is going to be very, very good scope in the future. And the one good thing is that these companies do pay very well as compared to the earlier job market. So the future prospects for mechanical engineers is going to be very well, surely.
And as you look at some of your seniors and people who have probably grown up their career, right? Is it
Yeah.
important to learn the local language? Like, is that an expectation coming from a place like India, right? Is it absolutely required to learn Chinese and grow? Because that's my sense when I worked in Samsung Korea that you have to learn Korean to grow up the hierarchy. Is it similar in Taiwan?
Yeah, I can agree partially. It depends on the team in which you are working. So there are some teams which are global teams, and everything is done and every execution is done in English. So there is no kind of barrier in those teams. But yeah, definitely if you are some teams related to manufacturing side, so there are people uh, who are not much comfortable in talking in English, and so for smooth conversation it is advised to learn local language. So it depends on team which you are working, definitely.
Awesome, Tariq. So, any last thoughts as you again talk to me, and if you want to spread some initial, I mean, some final thoughts to students listening to this, what would you tell them?
Final thoughts is like I see people moving from their interest just because of some high paying jobs, high paying salary. Just people move from mechanical engineering to data analytics or data science. So yes, there is a good opportunity in future, and if you are having a very good interest and very good skill and very good knowledge in your domain, so I think there will be a shortage of talent in this domain, in the domain of mechanical engineering. So I advise to stick to your domain and have a good experience and good knowledge in your domain. That will definitely going to help in the future.
Awesome, Tariq. So that's my closing thought to stick to your field, develop expertise in your field. There will always be good opportunities and look at places which people do not explore. So in Tariq's case,
Yeah,
he went to Roorkee and thereby went to Taiwan. But I think there are also other ways to get to Taiwan and these sort of places
yeah,
like Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong.
yeah,
It could even be a place like South Korea. You can
yeah,
easily
definitely.
get into any South Korean university with full financial aid and get
Yeah,
good jobs in companies like Samsung, Hyundai, and so on. But nobody does that. Like most Indians are only focused on the West. So
yeah,
change
yeah.
your
That is the
focus.
one thing.
Yes.
Like when I came here and I saw a lot of Indians already working here. So I was just amazed. So I asked them, how do you landed here? So yes, they have some this their senior guided them. Yeah, there is a good scope here. Uh, Living standard is very good here. Quality of education is very good here, and the most important thing is job opportunities are very good here. So it is all about the sharing the information and spreading the information, and I think the career vault is doing a right thing here.
Fantastic. I think there's a big problem with jobs everywhere in the world. So it's good to
Yeah,
know that at least there's one country where things are looking bright and there's an
yeah,
opportunity for students from India to go. So thank you so much, Tariq. Thanks so much for coming over. We'll probably call you later if there are more questions from students. But Tariq is always around to help students. So if you have
yeah,
questions, I'll put up his link to his LinkedIn profile in the description box on YouTube. Check it out. Reach out to
yeah,
him. He's always super friendly, super ready to answer further questions. Thanks so much,
yeah.
Tariq. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.